Hey guys, it's Mooty here, and I used to do a Showdown series called Adorable Annihilation, where I used some Little Cup Pokemon and lettered on Showdown. So, because we haven't seen that in a while, now the easiest way for me to actually get Little Cup battles is on Showdown. So, I'm going to be bringing that back to you today. I already pre-made a Little Cup team. Now, I don't exactly like it too much. Like, it still obviously needs changes, but it's just the best thing that I made for the meta that I've seen. And I think since the last team that I made, the last team had Mischievous, which got banned. So, other than that, I really don't think there were many changes that came about in Little Cup. And right now, I know the top of the ladder is Mienfoo, because Mienfoo is just with a Violet, it's bulky, and it's also pretty good typing. The only thing it really does have to watch out for is Fletchling. Now, the team that I'm running, as you can tell, I have Vulpix and Bellsprout. Now, together, those two are really good. Vulpix getting the Sun Up gets a lot of damage off on things, and once Bellsprout gets a Chlorophyll boost in speed, it's also really good, and it has nice potential to get some damage off on things. So that's why I don't exactly have a Scarfer on this team. Bellsprout kind of acts as that, like, pseudo-Scarfer just to get, like, a lot of speed off on things. So from the team that I'm seeing right now, two potential leads that I could see is Mienfoo, because they have the ability to U-turn out and just have pivot. And the other one that I see could be Ferroseed, which can set up entry hazards. Or if he really thinks I'm going to lead off with something like Bronzor and have my entry hazards, he might lead off with the freaking, I can't think of the bird's name for some reason, even though I have mine. Yeah, Volby. I have one right here. It's called Volby. So, in that case, the only thing is that I think with my team, at least with Chinchou's pretty alright. He doesn't really have too many things that would have ground type moves that would threaten me. The only thing I would have to watch out is that Tortuga. And then, Chinchou does have Hidden Power Grass, but like I said, Tortuga I think also has Sturdy. Kinda gotta watch out for that. Mienfoo wouldn't be a bad lead either in either case. Like, if he led off with Ferroseed, I could just go for a Drain Punch and whatnot. And if he led off with his own Mienfoo, it's not too bad either. Now, Vulpix is going to be a pretty good Pokemon to keep around. Like, if Ponyta is gone, Vulpix can do a lot of damage to a lot of Pokemon on his team. Barring the Tortuga, I guess, but even that doesn't want to take sun-boosted overheats and stuff like that. So he leads off with his Ponyta, kind of used to seeing these things be scarfed. So it could be nice to get some damage off on it. Maybe he was expecting a Vulpix lead, but it would be nice to get some damage off on it with a Fake Out at the very least. Potential switch-ins I could see is Volby if it does carry something like Rocky Helmet, and Ferroseed also could carry something like Rocky Helmet. Now, Ponyta, not entirely sure what it could carry other than fire moves like Flare Blitz or whatnot. So I kind of want to go for a knockoff on this thing, just to knock off whatever item it may have. Like, obviously, yeah, it has Flash Fire here, so it'd be nice to get rid of that before trying to get some sun boosted overheats off. But I think I'm going to go for the knockoff here, kind of knock off his item. If he does carry Choice Scarf or something like that, it'd be really useful to do. If he carries a Violet, then it helps. So that's, okay, that's why he stayed in. He had Willow. Now, he had a Violet, so that's fine. I could go into Bronzor, not Bronzor, I meant freaking Chinchou. I could go into Chinchou. I could U-turn out and get some extra damage off and go into Chinchou. Now, Mienfoo being burned sucks, but Mienfoo still has some utility even beyond that. So what I'm going to do here is, because I'm faster, I'm also going to U-turn out. And then what I'm going to do is go into my Chinchou from here. And then if he switches out, fine. He goes for a Flare Blitz. He gets some damage off. I get a U-turn off. Now, because he went for that Flare Blitz, I almost want to make sure that I go into something faster. Although the problem is with my team right now is that I don't think I have anything faster. Like, I could go into my Vulpix and go for HP Rock, and it'll still do some damage. Or I can go into Chinchou. I'm going to, but like, at least with Vulpix, if I go into Vulpix, get this thing out of the way, I still have a good amount of offensive presence. So I think I'm gonna go with the Vulpix. Although with the Chinchou, what I could do as well would be to go for a Volt Switch and kind of get some pivot and damage off on it, and at the same time it doesn't want to take a Scald. But I still think a Hidden Power Rock is gonna do a good amount, and once again, I'm not sure, but I think the Vulpix may also outspeed it. like, I'm just only getting back into Little Cup, so you kind of gotta bear with me here because I haven't done it in ages. And I honestly, when I did Little Cup, I never really did it in a fully competitive setting, and that's what this is on Showdown. It's really a fully competitive setting. So what I'm gonna go is for Hidden Power Rock. Now, don't honestly think he's gonna stay in, but at the same time, if he switches out, other things don't want to take the sun boosted fire type attacks that I have. So it's really just a toss-up. The only thing that I don't want to see is Tortuga, and the Hidden Power Rock is obviously going to take it out right here. Even though he did get a good amount of damage off on me, which really sucks, the only thing that I can really see coming in now is something like Mienfoo, and he'd be able to fake me out and get a lot of damage off with Drain Punch. Mienfoo is a really, really difficult Pokemon to deal with. Like, I could go into something like my Bronzer to try and resist it. Mienfoo also gets a knockoff, which is really annoying. Now, Bronzer is the only thing on my team that I'm kind of really iffy with. Another thing that wouldn't mind taking Mienfoo hits is Volibee. So it really is a toss-up. Like, if he goes for the knockoff expecting the switch, Volibee is my best option, but if he goes for the knockoff expecting the Bronzer, that's a problem. So Volibee is probably going to be my best option. Kind of thinking that I'm going to expect the knockoff coming here because I do carry Heat Rock, which is only going to extend my... Okay, he goes for U-turn, which is actually even better. So Volibee takes that decently enough, and I really don't see anything else other than maybe his own Volibee coming in, or Pharaoh Seed if he really wants to set up hazards. I could knock off the Pharaoh Seed if I really want to, but then obviously I have to deal with the nuisance of Iron Barbs and stuff. So Pharaoh Seed, honestly, if I saw Pharaoh Seed, it wouldn't be bad. If he wants to come in with Tortuga, I honestly just want to knock that thing off, get it out of the way, because Tortuga does carry the threat of being able to Shell Smash, and it also has Sturdy, so I would get rid of whatever it's carrying, and I'd also get rid of the Sturdy. So honestly, I think I just want to knock this thing off. I am very, like, I don't want to deal with it. Basically, I don't want to deal with it. I do obviously put myself at risk of being hit with a rock type attack, but I'm just scared of the Shell Smash possibility. So right now, just on the off chance he goes for a rock move, I can go into Bronzer. Bronzer is going to resist that. Bronzer, the reason I put Bronzer on here is because he sets up Stealth Rock, and he's really my only, one of the very few resistances I have to rock other than Mienfoo. And with Mienfoo though, I don't want to come in on this thing. At least if Bronzer comes in on this thing, is bulky enough to take it. Mienfoo is also burned to where it's not really going to pose much of a threat to this thing either. So as you can see, the Stone Edge doesn't do a lot, and I could set up screens here, or I could Stealth Rock, or I could just Gyro Ball it. Because it's a physical attacker, like, this thing's a physical attacker, Pharaoh Seed would be a physical attacker, Volibee would be a physical attacker, and Mienfoo would be a physical attacker. So Reflect would help me a lot here. The only thing I didn't put on this thing is Light Clay, which is kind of annoying. So Reflect would definitely help me out a bit with my defenses, so I'm going to go for Reflect. I could also go for the Stealth Rock there, but I feel like it won't matter as much, if that makes sense. So he goes for the knockoff, obviously knocks off my Eviolite, and then I'm just going to go for the Gyro Ball here to try and take him out if he decides to stay in, because after Reflect, he's not going to do a lot with most of his team anyway. If I had Light Clay, it would have been a lot more useful. Another reason why I don't like this thing as much, that does nothing, that's so sad. So I'm just going to set up my own Stealth Rock at that point. Bronzer is kind of, it's been the weak link on my team. It was just there to get some resistances to, what do you call it, some resistances to freaking rock. So I could, from what we saw, he has knockoff, Stone Edge, Scald, and Stealth Rock. So I'm safe going into Chinchou here, don't have to worry about any ground moves. And I could scare him out with Hidden Power Grass, so Chinchou wouldn't be too bad of a Pokemon to bring in now, especially because I take hits very well. And I could go for an HP Grass and just kill this off. If he predicts that, or predicts something like the Scald, he could go into Fungus really easily, or he could go into Pharaoh Seed really easily as well. So I'm almost thinking about wanting to scald this thing on the off chance he wants to bring something else in. I still think, even though it wouldn't kill, scald would do a decent amount. And then there's the chance that I could, okay, well, he stays in. It does a decent amount. I also get a burn off on it, even though it's not worth much. But at this point, I'm better off staying in and scalding anyway. And I mean, I probably could have also gone for the Volt Switch and gotten Switch Initiative, which would have been better. So I should have gone for the Volt Switch there. I think Volt Switch would have killed it anyway. But, and then I could have gone into maybe Mienfoo. I could get fake out damage off, or I could bring in Vulpix again to kind of put more pressure on his team. Because right now, both of my screens wore off. My sun is off. So I'm kind of, I guess, kind of vulnerable. I'm kind of expecting Mienfoo to come in right now. Ferroseed comes in, which isn't bad, honestly. I could just Volt Switch out pretty safely because I'm gonna outspeed this thing. I'll get some damage off on it for what it's worth. And from there, I could bring in Vulpix again. Obviously, I have to watch out for him attacking me or leech seeding me. But I do at the same time want to get the sun up. If I get the sun up, I have another 8 turns of sun, and then I could bring in Bellsprout. Bellsprout would outspeed everything, and it would definitely threaten a lot of his team as well. On the off chance that he does attack and the Vulpix, I really think it's just gonna go for a grass move, and I'm still gonna take a, yeah, I'm actually dying to Stealth Rock, and he goes for the spikes there, which actually really sucks because I couldn't get the sun up. So what am I gonna do? I could go into Volby and defog if the sun, not the sun, but the stones really bother me. Because all he's gonna do is set up on me. So defogging wouldn't be a bad idea, especially because Volby doesn't want to deal with the rocks. Chinchou doesn't want to deal with the rocks. So I think I'm just going to go in, defog away the hazards. He doesn't have any, you know, Defiant users or anything that would benefit off of me going for defog. So I could do that. I could also roost up if I really, really wanted to. So I should have kept in mind that I was going to die to rocks and kind of played around that a bit better. So that's my mistake. At that point, might as well go for defog. Really, no reason not to, honestly. So I'm just going to go for defog with this guy. I also could roost up if I really want to, and then Ferroseed doesn't really want to stay in on this thing either. I think it's going to pay off in the long run anyway, just getting rid of the Stealth Rocks, even though I do get rid of my own anyway. So me being paralyzed doesn't really matter to me. I'm just going to roost up to get my health up. I have to also keep in mind that I don't have my Violet anymore either. So from here, I am not really going to have a very good way of dealing with this thing because I am paralyzed. Yeah, that's gonna kill me. At that point, this is dead weight because there's no way I can roost up because the Iron Head is just gonna kill me again after this. So, alright, so he's para Iron Head. I guess going for flinches. Thing is, I could bring in Mienfoo, but I'm still burnt anyway. And it's not really, but unfortunately, it is the thing that poses the biggest threat to him because I didn't get the sun up, and that's probably the biggest mistake there. If I went into the Vullaby and defogged away before bringing in the Vulpix, I should have considered the fact that the rocks were going to kick in and I was going to take a lot from it. So that's why I need to have a defogger on this team, and that's why, like, it's also kind of sun reliant. Between Vulpix and Bellsprout, it's sun reliant. Then Volby was there for the defog factor, and then the other 3 Pokemon on that team are kind of iffy that I've been thinking about playing around. So really, there's no reason for me not to go for the Drain Punch. Granted, he could easily switch in Fungus if he wanted to, and that's kind of what I'm scared of, is Fungus coming in, and then, you know, I take burn damage too on top of that. What I can do is predict that, go for the knockoff, or I could just knock off this thing's Violet and kind of make my time a bit easier with dealing with this thing, because it's so bulky to where it's going to give my team a problem anyway. So Fungus comes in, I get a knockoff off on it, and I can U-turn out from here to get a bit more damage off on it. Other than that, it's going to be kind of difficult to deal with, especially because I could get spored, which I kind of got to watch out for. So the best thing I can do is U-turn out. I'll also get some regenerator from U-turning out, which isn't bad, and that's why Mienshao is also really good. But on the off chance he does want to go for a spore, expecting me to U-turn out and go into something else, I might as well go into Bellsprout. And the thing with Bellsprout is that because I rely on Sun, I have to rely on the Weather Ball whenever I want to get a fire type attack off, so it's not exactly the best thing in the world. So the thing is, the best thing I have right now is a Sludge Bomb. I can't go for Weather Ball because it's, first of all, it's not very good, and if there is no weather, then its base power is 50 and it's pretty useless. It's actually pretty useless right now because the Pharaoh Seed can easily come in, and I'm kind of thinking the Pharaoh Seed is going to come in, so I'm going to double switch out into Mienshao. I mean Mienfu, I keep calling it Mienshao, but I'm going to double switch out on the off chance that he's going to switch back out into Pharaoh Seed or Volibee, which isn't bad either. Well, actually that is pretty bad. I could fake it out, but it might have Rocky Helmet, which I should watch out for. From there I can U-turn out and get some damage off on it. I'll see if he has Rocky Helmet or not. If not Rocky Helmet, then it's definitely a Violite, but yeah, he's got a Violite. I could go into Chinchou expecting the Brave Bird. That's why I can't stay in on this thing on the off chance that it Brave Birds. That's why I'm better off saving the Mienshao, because really, honestly, my only way of dealing with this, not this thing, but the Pharaoh Seed, even though I am burnt. So, right now, I'm gonna go for the Scald. Like, I could Volt Switch out, but Fungus might come in. And if Fungus comes in, at least if I go for a Scald, I have a chance of burning it to kind of wither it down a bit more. Or if Pharaoh Seed wants to come in and take a Volt Switch, then there's a chance of me burning the Pharaoh Seed too. So, I mean, they're all chances, but what do I have? I have Volt Absorb on you. So there's the Pharaoh Seed. I go for a Scald, and then I get some damage off. And this thing, though, this thing is so annoying. I could risk it by leaving my Chinchou in. Thing is, he's definitely not gonna go for a Thunder Wave. I don't want Mienshao to take damage either. And I'm kind of in a really rough spot. I am in a really rough spot, so I'm just gonna go for the Scald. The thing is, we saw he had Spikes, we saw that he had Thunder Wave, we saw that he had Iron Head, and there is a chance he's not gonna have a Grass type attack, so I might as well stay in and go for Scald. Either he doesn't have a Grass type attack or he predicted me to switch out there, but at that point I might as well continue going for Scalds, and his last move is Leech Seed, which at this point I can't stay in, and at this point I have to switch out. So I'm going to go for Volt Switch there. At that point he might set up Spikes, or he might set up Leech Seed again, but it's just that on the off chance he wants to switch out for some reason, I may as well go for Volt Switch. And my moveset on this thing is Hidden Power Grass. Oh, actually, because he switches out, that's pretty good, I guess. And then the Fungus has Regenerator too, which makes it really annoying. So, I honestly don't have too many good switch-ins, so to speak. The best thing I can do against this right now is go for a Sludge Bomb. I mean, yeah, a Sludge Bomb. And then there's the fact of the matter that Pharaoh Seed might come in this time, or he might decide to stay in with Fungus. I don't know. But me against this thing isn't very good, but he went into Volibee last time, so at least Sludge Bomb is going to do a good amount. There's no way I'm outspeeding. That's... It's a freaking Bellsprout. It's a freaking Bellsprout, and I think because I made it to be Sun boosted, that's why going for a freaking... what do you call it? Going for a freaking... oh, actually, outspeed. Alright, I mean, getting the Volibee out of the way isn't bad. It's not bad, but at the same time, I gotta keep Bellsprout, making sure I don't get spored, and making sure I kind of have a way of dealing with it. So, this is actually a pretty long Little Cup match. Another thing that I have kind of to keep around is Bronzer. I have double screens on that. I'm at a huge disadvantage because I do not have the sun. Bronzer though, Bronzer is kind of dead weight, honestly, but it's just so low on health where I don't think it's worth it to keep around. With Mienshao, he might just go for a knockoff or something like that, so we might as well sacrifice Bronzer. From there though, it's kind of a toss-up. I don't have much I can do to it. Like, my Mienshao's actually, I am so slow. I am so awful. I am so slow. Oh my goodness. I kept looking, thinking, hey, Chinchou, you have a freaking heal bell that I could have used this entire turn. I was too focused on getting damage off on this stuff that I forgot that I can make complete utility of one of my Pokemon here, except it's already been way past the point in which I could have made utility of it because I would die to a knockoff here. I think most likely die to a knockoff. I think the rest of my team actually might die to a knockoff, except for Mienfoo, but he goes for a Drain Punch and I lose. But that's another thing where misplays cost you the game, and we're like, you're so into the game you just don't realize other things. I could have put my Mienshao to better utility so long ago, but I was completely focused on getting damage off on Pokemon that I just didn't. I could have heal belled it. I could have put it to great use. Like, it would have definitely at least kept this thing kind of in check better, but man, that's just like a huge misplay, and it happens. Honestly, the only thing I can really do is Sludge Bomb. I'm kind of gonna die to anything anyway because it's a Bellsprout and it gets outsped by anything, and I lived a knockoff. So the only thing I could do is Sludge Bomb. I get a Poison, which I guess is useful. Whether or not he wants to go into Ferroseed now is kind of iffy, but he's only seen Sludge Bomb from me. I don't know if he thinks I might have Hidden Power Fire or something, so he's scared to do that. Although in this scenario, I have Weather Ball on it, but honestly, Hidden Power Fire, it may have had more utility just having it on my team, especially because the Weather Ball thing, because I don't have anything to actually benefit from it, it's pretty bad. I'm going to go into Mienfoo on the off chance he predicts the poison type attack and decides to switch out to get some Regenerator, and then he wants to go into Ferroseed or Fungus. It's kind of a toss-up. I don't have many options right now because, like I said, I did make a lot of misplays this game, and as always, like, when you play games, you're going to have moments where you just mess up, but it's just supposed to... Okay, he stays in, but that's just what happens. There really wasn't much else I could do, honestly. I could fake it out. He can go into something like Ferroseed. It's not... Well, he's not really going to want to go with Ferroseed because even though I am burnt, he doesn't want me to get health back. I still have the ability of getting some health back from Regenerator. But the best thing I could go for right now is Drain Punch. But with me being burnt, it's definitely not going to do enough. I can only hope that it's really not. Oh, he went for a high jump kick and missed. Wow. That's why I don't run high jump kick, but that he could have just gone for Drain Punch and probably done a lot to me where Burn might take me out. That's actually, I'm surprised he went for high jump kick. That kind of turns this into a bit of a different a bit of it. Like, I'm only saying a bit because that's what it is. It is a bit. Now with Fungus here, I can U-turn out. I can get some Regenerator back, which is really huge. So the only thing is that Bellsprout is so low on health where it probably won't matter. I still don't know. I still have a feeling he might be scared of my Bellsprout having Hidden Power Fire. That's why he hasn't gone into Ferroseed yet. But that might be a change I'll make on this team after this. But I don't know yet. I'm still thinking, like, I feel like I've just been way behind on this game the entire time to where I'm just about to die here anyway. I mean, I could go for a knockoff on this thing and knock this thing off. That's really the best thing I could do. There's no point in me going for drain punches. I'm burnt. I could have had a lot more utility out of this thing if I used Heal Bell earlier, like I said. So I'm just going to knock off now. At least knock off its a Violite or whatever. Actually, I'm not. Actually, no. I think I might have knocked it off earlier. Really quick. I think I might have not. Yeah, I knocked it off earlier. I should have been paying attention to that, but whatever. But the best thing I can do, I should just, I guess, fake out it and then U-turn, but I knocked it off earlier and I totally forgot. U-turn is not going to do a lot. Sludge Bomb's going to kill me, and that's going to be a good game. So, from that, obviously you could see how, you know, a couple misplays can really cost you the game. So that battle's a bit long, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, you can leave a like, and as always, I love you guys very, very much, and have a wonderful day, and bye.